When did the Śaiva dharma begin? There are all these very sketchy histories. I myself do not do history. I'm interested in philosophy and practice. But I need to give you a little bit of intro. You know, if you dig even in Google these days, you will find a Pashupati seal. It's not like it comes with the name Pashupati, but you'll find for sure these seals like with the carving of someone sitting definitely in a yogic position, surrounded by animals in the background. That seal itself is dated 3000 BCE. And when we relate to later texts, Śaiva texts, the way they describe Śaiva yogis living with animals, those descriptions resonate to that artifact. And whether or not that is Pashupati, we know that yoga is at least 5,000 years old and is practiced. So, you know, in 5,000 years, many things change. These days, every 10 years, it doesn't even 10 years. You guys change your mind every week or something like that, you know. When some practices go for 5,000, 6,000 years, some changes happen. And when something changes, people like to take the new things and give up the old things, which is natural. But the thing is, always the new is not necessarily the best. Sometimes we need to keep the old and also learn the new. So the Sarvamnaya is a tradition that retains the practices from very early times, at least from the earliest record of the Pashupatas in the history. Pashupatas, those who follow Pashupati, Lord Shiva. And these Pashupatas were dominant in Nepal historically, the mainstream in Nepal, 3rd, 4th centuries. And that is why even today, the central shrine of Shiva in Nepal is Pashupati. So Pashupatas, or if you see the Rudra or all the imagery of the Pashupatas, many of them did standing meditation like Mahavira, or standing on a single leg like Ekapada, under a tree like the Buddha, and were mendicant. And there were many, many types, varieties of Shaivas, at least from the Taittiriya Aranyaka, it's a Vedic text. When we find these 5 different forms and mantras of Shiva, Sadyojata, Vamadeva, this is already 5 different integrated together. So different types of Śaiva yogis, different forms of yoga within Śaiva schools is at least as ancient textually as 8th century before the Common Era. The Sutra text now comes as a Pashupata Sutra, is maybe 2nd, 3rd century Common Era. And so we have on one hand these really ancient yogic text. On the other, there are tremendous amount of later tantric kaula practices integrated within. And in the modern day worship of Pashupati in Nepal, the Sri Yantra, that is the yantra of the goddess, is worshipped on top, following Sarva Amnaya, all the transmission. So this has, the living practice has tried to keep the ancient alive and then also integrate what can come within the system. And at least, even these integrations are at least 800 years or older than that. So goes to the heart of when the original agamas were coming.